happiest Sunday, everyone. Welcome to Sunday's session of Live at the Waterhole. It is Sunday the 27th of July. It is 12:30 here in a cooler, less sunny South Africa this afternoon. My name is Kelly and I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours, perusing these fabulous cameras we have in so many different locations. Starting off here at Aldonyo Lodge up in Kenya with three rather magnificent male elephants and a selection of eland as well, looks like behind. Very nice to see some elands here, Aldonyo, along with some oryx in the background there, fringe-eared oryx or East African oryx. Thank you all so much for joining. Please do remember we are very much live and completely interactive here today. So please don't forget to send your questions or comments through to wildearth.tv/questions. That elephant on the right there is doing a terrible job of having a drink by the looks of it. You are also welcome to join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth. You are also welcome to send your questions and comments through to us via WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336. Whether you have sent something through to us before, never before, been thinking about it, maybe today is the day. We faithfully promise to try and get through as many questions and comments as we can over the course of the next couple of hours. I love hearing from everyone where you are listening or watching from, your thoughts on what we are seeing. And as I always say, it's a learning opportunity for all of us. It's a great opportunity for me to go away and check some of my workings. This elephant closest to us here, there's definitely one of these tusks is broken. It's very obvious that this boy used to have two magnificent tusks. You can see on the side there where this tusk is snapped. I'm sure it was previously as impressive as the other one. And there's a multitude of ways that could have happened. Possibly fighting with another bull, possibly tried too hard to push a tree or something, which is unlikely. Possibly in an interaction with another bull, and that would have been a big piece of ivory that broke off there. I'm just trying to work out. I don't remember ever seeing this elephant on the left before. Well, I don't remember seeing tusks that was so obviously, or one of which was so obviously broken before. And I'm just trying to remember if, because he's also got a very distinctive gap out of his ear on the same side as the broken tusk. Does anyone watching know if this is a recent broken tusk? Have we been seeing this elephant regularly with two matching tusks and this is a recent thing? I just don't recall seeing, and we do often spend a lot of time with these bulls here. I don't recall seeing this tusk thing before. If anyone else watching might know if it's a new thing. Oh yes, let's head across to Lantoro. I'd like to see what's happening here, but in the meantime, if anyone recognises this elephant and this is to be a recent break on this tusk, I would love to hear, or maybe we've just not seen him before. Mr. Elemental, happy Sunday to you too. 6:30 p.m. in a cold and rainy Perth, Western Australia. Welcome. Look at all these guys. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Elemental. Joanne Mello, happy Sunday, Wild Earth, Kelly and Chatters. Happy Sunday back to you, Joanne Mello. Melanistic Marble, overcast and mild here in Greater London. Thank you for joining us from Greater London, Melanistic Marble. Hello, Spas. Great to begin with some elephants and some oryx across there at Aldonio. Lovely group of zebra here though at Lontore. I've noticed that when something happens here, it's very cool. It's we see it's not always super busy, but when something does happen, it's often quite a nice sighting. This is beautiful. What a lovely photograph this would make. Ooh, push up. Ooh. Ooh. It rained here yesterday. Last night there was a few spatterings of rain, which is very unusual for this time of year in the Lowfell. I think it's probably about 18 degrees today, which is actually fairly cool. I actually went horse riding this morning for the first time in a very long time, and I had 3 layers on, which is most unusual for this area at any point, unless of course you're on a morning game drive or afternoon game drive when it does get super chilly.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My full name is Mpho Muthusi Tikani. I grew up in Soweto. My first animal that I filmed said to dog. Okay, no, it's my first animal that I filmed, I think it was an impala. Best sighting ever, I would say it was actually this year, 2024. But it was at this Cedric when we had Mulwati and TP on a warthog kill. I think we have to cut it.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a salesman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve. Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
Because we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
How cool is taste this.
A load of animals in an area and not make sure they've got enough water. So most of these cameras, this is how the water levels are maintained around this time of year. Nello, happy Sunday. It's windy here in Hoodspray as well. You saying it's windy in Josini in KZN. Penelope Kenyon, hello Wild Earth. Kelly, Zoomies and chatters from a very windy, cold Salt Rock, KZN, North Coast. Welcome, thank you for joining us, Penelope Kenyon. Your presence is always appreciated. Super breezy here as well today. Apparently it's going to drop down to 6 degrees at night time here in Limpopo next week, which is, I don't know how we're all going to cope. That's freezing cold temperatures. So yeah, I think probably a cold front coming across. James and family from Gauteng, thank you very much for joining us, James, and indeed the rest of your family. You're asking, are male elephants very territorial towards other males? It depends, James. I wouldn't classify elephants as territorial. Normally the scientific definition of territoriality is defending an area, so a specific area of space. That is a territory. So very male white rhinos, male lions, that's my classic example of being territorial. Mr. Lion has control of a 20 square kilometre space, and if any other male lions come into that 20 square kilometres of space, he will defend his territory fiercely and chase them away. Elephants aren't really territorial like that. They don't really have a very clear defined space. They will get grumpy with each other when it comes to females, but that is more about resources than an actual space, so an actual area of ground, so a territory. But they can be, especially if there's a female who's reproductively receptive, and two males are having the same idea, they will most definitely clash over that. They will sometimes defend resources depending on if there was a teeny tiny little puddle and 10 male elephants wanted to drink out of it, then there could be some discussions around that. But they're fairly relaxed there. We see them often at Aldonio. But that water is there, it's a pan, it stays full, they've all drunk out of it many times, so there's an occasional interaction between the males, but generally they don't really want to fight if they don't need to. That was a very, very long-winded answer. James and family from Gauteng. I'm not sure who this question is from, but whoever you are, you're saying hello Wild Earth. Quick question in terms of water temperature. Are any of the wild animals particular about how warm or cold the water is when drinking? I don't think so. My brain has gone to, rather than temperature, more the placement of the water. So think the cold water would stay. I'm thinking more about the contents of the water and its relation to its placement in the pan. So I think they'd probably be more concerned about whether or not there was sediment or silt or dung or anything in the water, as opposed to the temperature of the water. But that's educated guess. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's been any studies done on it. Whether or not reptiles might have a preference, because the water they ingest would have an impact on their temperature. Not sure. Good question though. Brilliant. That was lovely seeing those zebra have a drink there. Let's head over to Tau. I'm almost convinced that there will be something happening over there at the Tau waterhole. Because there usually is. Oh, look at that beautiful heron in the water there, just gone out of the screen on the left. I'm not quite sure. I just had a report back that I'm sounding something. So let me move this microphone a little bit and see if that's any improvement. I'll come a little bit closer. It is. I'm still enjoying these cameras from outside, and there is a little bit of wind today, so it could just be picking that up on the mic maybe. So apologies if you're picking that up. Nice to see. This is actually a recycled teenager in England. This is a very pertinent question to what we're looking at the moment. You're asking at what age is a male elephant sexually mature, and is it at that point he has to leave its mother and the herd? Standardly, yes, possibly a little bit before. When a male elephant can breed, like physically, in relation to when they are likely to breed, are quite different things. But again, it depends on the population, the demographics, that sort of thing. Normally, the bigger, older bulls will only start to get breeding access after about 25 years of age. Because biggest, strongest get access to the most reproductive rights. But a young male is normally, again, books will say they get asked to leave the herd between 12 to 15, 10, 12, 15. But again, it depends on resources, it depends on their behaviour, so there's lots of factors to factor into play.
Now this leopard that we're looking at is known by the name of Hlalamba.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
It actually surprises me that I don't see these water bugs. I'm sure it must have something to do with the nutrients in these water plants. They've certainly got enough moisture. I see quite a few of you have been passing comment on those zebra we saw there drinking at Lantoro, and how they look cleaner without those shadow stripes. That's a really good observation that those zebra up in those areas around Kenya do not carry those shadow stripes like we often see in zebra down in more towards southern Africa. There is again speciation and taxonomy. It's still a plains zebra, but it's a type of subspecies to the plains zebra, and it's the science of it is Equus quagga bohemi, which is the Grant zebra, found more up towards Kenya, East Africa, and they do indeed show fewer shadow stripes than the common plains zebra found in the southern regions. So again, geographical speciation dependent on area, how and when things are declared a species or a subspecies is down to the scientists. but you are all very correct that those Kenyan zebra do indeed carry far fewer shadow stripes, and it's actually be interesting. Let's have a look at these guys here. So while Mazikwe is in the north of South Africa, the light's not quite right there to get a really nice clear look, but those Grant's zebra up there in Kenya, they do indeed have far fewer shadow stripes, much more clearly defined compared to the Birchall zebra, showing a lot more of those shadow stripes. And it could be adaptations for thermoregulation, it could be adaptations for camouflage. Okey-dokey, let me try reposition a little bit and see if I'm sounding a bit less muffled. Let's try that and see if that helps. And it does change as you move north to south. So maybe somewhere between Kenya and the Kruger, if you did a survey of zebra and how shadow stripy they were, you would see changes. This other elephant has been joined by a slightly smaller male now. So yes, I was saying about sexual maturity in male elephants. Like technically, male elephants reach sexual maturity sometime between sort of 12, 15. And like I said, somewhere around there is when it may well be suggested that they depart and go and form their own, or go off on their own, or form small bachelor groups, or loose bachelor groups should I say. But they won't start coming into, they might come into must sort of around 15, 18, but they probably won't get active to reproductive rights until they're well into their 25, 30 plus, purely because they need to compete with other males' size, strength, and female preference as well, I would have thought. So that's the difference. Actual physical sexual maturity and opportunities to demonstrate sexual maturity are two different things. Certainly in elephants anyway. I'm just going down these questions here. Who has asked that? Melanistic marble. Yes, regional variation in zebra, you're quite right. And you're asking what regional variations determine a subspecies. I don't know. Melanistic marble, there are regional variations in many, many, many animals. Apologies for that, everyone. I was getting feedback that I was sounding pretty dreadful. And guess what? I unplugged my microphone and plugged it back in again, and hopefully it has improved. So apologies for that. But yes, melanistic marble. What determines a subspecies by variation? Not me. I'm sure there are many criteria, many genetic tests that need to be done for the very clever science people to finally say, right, okay, this is now a subspecies, but I don't know what they are. Taxonomy is such a tricky, confusing subject for me anyway. I don't know who decides or how those decisions are made, but I believe in this day and age it's at cell level. It will be DNA testing and comparisons, and there will be some regulation around if X amount of these things is different, then it's classified as a subspecies. But I don't know what that formula is. Okay, let me try and catch back up here after my sound problems. Apologies. Oh, Jive Bunny, you're saying one of the Hesh cheetah cubs has sustained an injury this morning, but I think there has been a follow-up and they are investigating what's going on. Okay, that's a shame. We only saw them yesterday. If we do hear anything, we will absolutely let you know, but good to know there are eyes on those little guys at all times. Jive Bunny, greetings from one of your fans here in the UK. Hello. Hi Kerry, thank you so much for checking in. There are three crocodiles here, but I want to go over to Camelthorne. I have still yet to decide who actually dug the croc cave. But I think there may be a croc in it. There is. This looks like the crocodile I've seen in here a couple of times, but this croc actually looks different from those crocs at Tau as well, doesn't it? At what point would that be considered a different subspecies of crocodile? But I'm not even going to joke about that, because someone might say, oh, is there a subspecies of crocodile? Not that I'm aware of. I believe they are all Nile crocodiles. Okay, I'm getting quite behind here. Let me catch up on things. Johannes Masara, what is being eaten by those animals in the water? I'm not sure. There's lots of different aquatic plants in the Tau waterhole, but it's definitely some sort of aquatic plant that's only found in the water, but I'd need to have a really good look at it and try and work out what it is. Melanistic marble, it's an absolute pleasure. Ronnie 5000, good morning Ronnie 5000, thank you for checking into the show. And I still want to know who enlarged this hole. Crocodiles will dig holes, lots of things will dig holes, but I can't work out how that roof of that hole, and holes will enlarge by an animal walking in and out, but that crocodile has not enlarged that hole because it's not big enough. So would it, I'm just trying to think, it wouldn't have been the biggest reptiles are big snakes or crocodiles, wouldn't have been one of those. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a flick through my book that I've got in front of me to see if I can look and see and think of an animal that might have been responsible for shaping this hole the way it's shaped.
Join me for a magical safari to India, a wildly exotic land of tigers, temples and Kipling. To start, we'll head to Pench and then to Doba to look for the famed Bengal tiger, as well as deer in the dappled forests, sloth bears and countless birds. we'll stay in stunning eco-lodges that blend luxury with a light footprint. Our Indian adventure culminates in Agra with a sunrise visit to the Taj Mahal.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
My full name is Tikani. Best part of my job is coming to see nature. Worst part of my job is logging. That's the worst thing ever, because you have to log amount of footage. You sit in front of that computer and yeah, you think of deleting the footage, but no, they need the footage. If I want a camel, probably a soccer player. I know some people don't believe me, but I'm very good, I'm very fast.
This is what they call a shambi, a family, a whole herd of elephants.
But nature is beyond amazing. Nature is just everything.
We'd love to hear from you. Questions, comments about biology, Africa, safari. She's using her tail like a monkey.
Lovely fish eagle calling in the background. Wildlife lady, could it be weather erosion as helping as well? Yeah, I think it probably could be. Maybe if this, I'm not sure how high this water level comes. Maybe if this water does come up above that point where that hole is when the water levels rise, if there's a hole there already, it could further erode it. But no, I'm racking my brains to try and think what animal could like dig a hole like that, and I haven't come up with anything. So all and any feedback is okay. BBC. If that is indeed the BBC, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you on board, and you are saying it's the chromosome count that differentiates a subspecies. I fully support that statement that defines speciation. Chromosome count, thank you very much for letting me know. I knew it was probably something way beyond my skill set. So the chromosome count, thank you for that very much, BBC. Raw, a few questions about the crocodile hole. Do you think there would be bats living in there? And why do you think the crocodile likes to go in a hole? Oh, beautiful shot of this. It's going to fly. There might be bats living in there. I'm not sure how deep it is, whether or not they would, they might, I suppose they will use any crevice or cracks they can find, so there could be. Maybe that crocodile wants to go in there, an additional twist on temperature regulation. Maybe he wants to be out of the water and in a bit of sun, but not full sun. So he's using it like a sun umbrella. Maybe it would, not that much would hunt that crocodile, but maybe it would make him feel a bit less vulnerable, less risk of anything sneaking up behind them. It could be that maybe it's been used as a nest site before. I'm not sure. They would be my suggestions, Raw, but as always, I'm open to any and all thoughts on the topic. Thank you very much, Eagle Lover. You have dug where I did not dig. Pumped by the dissolution of dolomite rock through the action of slightly acidic groundwater. There we go. We have our answer. It is nothing to do with animals, and it has been formed by weathering, basically. And what a perfectly formed hole. Nature is incredible, hey? Yeah, there's another one. Two Discos Dave. Could have been a small hole that's been enlarged downwards from the roof rather than upwards from the current floor. Brilliant formation, though. Thank you very much for doing that background digging for me, Eagle Lover. I was racking my brain to try and think of what animals could have done it, but nature is indeed amazing. Dark Main Lover, hello. Thank you very much for joining us, Dark Main Lover. Wildlife Lady, beautiful fish eagle. Loving their calls, and they're actually very vocal here. We hear them often at Camelthorne Farmstead. You can actually even see on the shot of this bird how much brown these fish eagles have on them. We're so used to seeing them at a distance. White heads, and they just look like white tops and black lower bodies, but there's actually lots of brown on those wings. So these fish eagles, territorial, and listen to them bonding there. Oh, lovely. I would love to go over there and have a look at that. Ah, look at these guys. So nice. You don't often see them sort of sat together. They're normally a little bit apart, but lovely to see this fish eagle, I assume pair, both in the same shot. Very, very nice. I do just want to put, this is so nice though. I do just want to have a quick look in at this black eagle nest, or this Verreaux's eagle's nest. I've become enthralled by some of the behaviours I've seen at this nest, and I would love to follow up because this chick is going to grow fast across at the black eagle's nest. You see, look, that's insane. This chick was white with just a few little black things on the wings. Oh, a week ago, less than a week ago. This little one is growing so fast. It does. I'm also just trying to look and see what that may or may not be, or once was. Sorry if anyone's a bit squeamish or having lunch. Oh. Was that a mouse with like rodent looking teeth? I can't believe how quickly these black feathers are developing on this chick. I've been watching closely for it. Often looks like the adult bird has sort of been encouraging the chick to eat. It's almost like they sort of push, nudge the chick as if to go on then. But I see this adult is still very much feeding this chick. Double P. Crocodile Dundee dug that cave when he stopped over in Africa on his way back to Australia. I think that's my favourite answer yet. Thank you very much for that. I'm going with that. Even this, look how this chick's face has changed. Oh, go on. Even this chick's face has changed to me. It doesn't look like a baby bird anymore and looks more like a young eagle, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes sense.
Hi everybody, looks like we have just located on a beautiful leopardess known as Clalamba.
tree across, maybe across on the other side of the river, and they're sort of more opposite. So I'm just trying to check and see what time of year they normally mate in this area. I'm checking laying dates for Botswana. Have we ever seen a nest site here for these two fish eagles? So the nest, they will both build the nest. Has anyone seen these fish eagles flying with any nesting material in their mouths, maybe? Because if they do normally remain in the same area, they will often use the same nest site. But they will sometimes choose different, they'll have maybe 2-3 different nests and rotate through them. But that's very exciting to see this pair perpetuating their species. Very, very nice. Another courtship we sometimes see from fish eagles. They will they almost dive bomb each other in the air, and they will sort of go feet first towards each other. It can look quite daunting, but lovely to see this happy couple together in their tree. I would love to go back and have a look at that black eagle nest. Look, as soon as I say that, they start duetting again. Let's actually, sorry FC, let's stay here, because they started duetting like that just before they mated earlier. So let's see if they're maybe not gonna mate again. I've never seen mating fish eagles, so I would love to see if they start calling again like that. Maybe that's a signal that they're going to mate again. I'm still trying to dig around and find laying dates for Botswana, but I can't find any. Laying dates for Namibia, June to July, South Africa, March to August. But we must keep a close eye on these two, I think. Hopefully we might even get a nest site. That would be fabulous. Okay, they've stopped calling again now. You'll watch them start again as soon as I've said that. Let's go back and have another look at that black eagle nest. Thank you very much. Our fabulous control centre are going to keep a keen eye out for any mating activity on those fish eagles, and if it happens, we're going to quickly go over there, because I've never seen mating fish eagles before. I'm still trying to work out what this prey item is. Raw, you do have lots of questions today. Do I think fish eagles can call when they fly? Physically, I think they can. I don't think they would or do, because exactly as you say, you're wondering how they throw their heads back when they're flying. But no, they must. They must do, because I've heard. But that's a really good question. I know physiologically they can. I've never seen a... That's a really good question. Don't send any more, Raw. I'm struggling today. Physiologically they can, but then when you think logically, I hear fish eagles calling a lot. Does that mean they're always sitting down? I know physically they can. I'm not going to try and explain it because I've never quite understood it properly. But the way birds' lungs are formed allows them to basically breathe and call at the same time. I'm not going to try and explain it because I've tried to understand it and explain it succinctly many times. But they do have a special setup so they can call and fly at the same time. Okay, let's go to Tao. Let's go to Tao. Quick. I've been told to go quick to Tao. The crocodiles are doing something. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm very excited to see it. This is, again, there's love in the air this Sunday. There's a... Is there 3 crocs here or 4? This is 100%. This is 100% mating activity. The research I've learnt is males will rub their heads over the females, but look, there's another one on the left there. There's definitely 3. I'm trying to work out if there's even 4 here. I wonder if this is a similar sort of scenario as you would have with... This is a really wild guess, but snakes, if female snakes, lots of male snakes will try and mate with a female snake. I wonder if this is what's happening here, and there's different males courting the same female, and I believe the actual mechanics of crocodile mating is he will sort of wrap his tail underneath, and I wonder if there's more than one male here trying to do a bit of tail wrapping, for want of another phrase. This is 100% mating courtship behaviour. I have spoken to the guys at Tao. I've let one of the guides there know that that there's definitely some crocodile love happening, and they must keep a close eye out to see if there's any nest sites start appearing from October onwards, apparently. But this is 100% mating behaviour. But this to me looks like it would do if there was a big female snake and smaller male snakes. It's slow movements. See, is there only 3 here? Yes, I see chat. NGR. You've seen and heard fish eagles calling when they're flying, sometimes very high in the sky. That's what my brain was telling me. You see a fish eagle and you hear a fish eagle calling. I've never seen like a photo of them with their mouths open, because they do indeed, they extend their necks, but I guess they can do that when they're flying. But you see a fish eagle flying and you can hear a fish eagle calling, so they must be able to do it when they're flying. I know physically they definitely can. Actually, most birds call when they fly, so why wouldn't fish eagles? On reflection, just because they make more of a... But lots of birds change their head position when they call. Now I'm thinking you just notice it more, I think, with eagles because they're bigger. But if you watch many birds call when they're standing still, they do lots of posturing. So yes, fish eagles can and do call when they fly. Maybe they just adjust their body stance and position more obviously when they're perched. See, there's definitely 3 crocodiles here. I'm just trying to work out if there's 4. This is a very special thing to see. I have never watched this because we don't normally get the opportunity, because this is a very there's definitely 3. This is a very vulnerable time for animals. They're not concentrating on anything else that's going on around them other than that opportunity to reproduce. And often if there is a vehicle or something else present, this behaviour will disengage. So unfortunately it would mean the behaviour was disturbed. But because of these cameras, these crocodiles have 0 inhibitions, so they are showing us this behaviour beautifully. I've never seen this before, hey? It's very sedate. Often courtship or copulation behaviours can be quite quick, quite erratic, quite dramatic. But this is very slow and measured, almost. Mahesh, yeah, I haven't seen anything like this with crocodiles either, Mahesh. I'm absolutely enthralled. I'm gonna check my favourite reptile book and see how common it is for this. This to me looks similar to a snake mating behaviour, so maybe 1 female, multiple males. I just want to see if there's any mention of that behaviour in here. I can't see any mention of males. So often the female will sort of lift her head, exposing her throat, but there's no mention in here of multiple males being involved in mating behaviour at the same time. So I think I'm gonna give myself a bit of homework here, because I would love to know more about this behaviour, because to be honest, you never quite know what you're going to see on these cameras. I mean, we might be seeing something that's never been witnessed before. I've got no idea. Dark Main Lover, I have seen your question. Brilliant. What is my outlook on what is the true meaning of conservation when it comes to wildlife or nature? That's a brilliant question, Dark Main Lover. I'm going to ponder it while I make a note to check mating behaviours of crocodiles and whether or not it's often recorded that multiple males will mate with a single female. But I'm going to make a shorter note than that. But yeah, this behaviour is it's reminiscent of snakes to me. Dark Main Lover, true meaning of conservation to me. What does it mean to me? Probably harmony. So if anyone's picking up wind in this microphone here, it is quite windy here today. I think I would have to say harmony, Dark Main Lover, because it's such a vast topic. Humans are here. There's nothing we can do about that. We are present, so we have to be here. Nature has to be here, and just try and do it nicely together, I guess. So that would encompass to me being mindful of resources. There's so many facets to conservation. But, you know, be mindful of resources, be considerate of the environment. Don't take more than you need. All the other elements of conservation, to me, that it ultimately boils down to being in harmony. I tell you what, you asked some brilliant questions, Dark Main Lover. I think I don't quite know whether or not to say that. Maybe I won't. I don't think humanity has made a lot of the terrible mistakes it's made on purpose. There are some dreadful humans on the earth, and some of the attitudes towards nature and the natural world. But I think there's also been quite a lot of mistakes. Mistakes that have been made due to lack of understanding, due to lack of knowledge. Thank you very much, BBC, for pointing that out to me earlier, that it's the number of chromosomes that defines speciation, or whether or not something is classified as a subspecies. We couldn't count chromosomes however many years ago it was, so we weren't able to do even things, you know, like determine species in what is the equivalent of a blink of an eye in natural world terms. See, this pale crocodile is leaving. I would love to see what goes on with the other crocodiles that are remaining. So I think a lot of the mistakes that have been made have not necessarily been made intentionally. But I think the trick is going to be continue to learn and grow with breadth of knowledge quickly enough to try and resolve those mistakes and not make more of them. I'm always terrified to say anything in case I haven't researched it properly and it's the wrong thing. The example that's springing to mind to me is CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. Remember all those years ago, you know, they were in hairspray, or I don't know what the full scientific history paper research backing is. And then suddenly someone went, oh no, they're really bad. And everyone sort of went, oh, crikey, really? Sorry. And then they stopped. I think mistakes like that are rife in conservation. That's just a very loose, flippant example. Oh, I know. The true meaning of I've changed my mind. The true meaning of conservation to me is harmony and understanding, or understanding and harmony. There we go. That's my answer.
This is an unbelievable afternoon.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. My scariest moment is when it happened twice. The other time I was with Cedric and the other time I was with Steve. And all those times it was a black mamba. My favorite meal in camp is gonna be burger and chips.
Hyenas love bathing.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Daker are also currently courting, certainly in the Lowveld area, because I caught my two little daker, showing lots of interest, or the male is showing lots of interest in the female. Spring is just around the corner, despite it being 18 degrees here today. Spring is coming. let's go across back to that black eagle. I would love to see this little chick again. I'm going to be paying close attention to how quickly this young one develops these black feathers. And I'm still trying to work out what this meal might... Wow, look at the size of that chick's feet. That looks really strange. That looks completely disproportionate to me. Oh, I've just had an alert on my phone that says anyone who is saying it's very windy in KZN, yellow level 2 warnings for damaging winds today in KZN. So batten down the hatches. People that did indeed confirm it is a bit windy down there. This is the first time I've seen this chick's feet, and that is quite hilarious, to be honest. Who'd have thunk in the not too distant future, those fabulous feet are going to be powerful enough to crush skulls of dussies and all sorts of other little prey species. This is beautifully specific, actually. Between 30 and 32 days, primary feathers emerge. At 35 days, contour tail feathers emerge. By 7 weeks, mottled brown feathers over much of the body. So that tells us that this bird is over 35 days, less than 7 weeks. Okay, so this chick, can you just remind me, FC, when did this chick hatch? I did make a note of it. I feel like it's about 5 weeks ago. But if you could confirm what date this chick was born, or anyone that is anyone is watching, that exact hatching date for this chick. I'm fairly sure it's less than 6 weeks. I haven't quite managed to work out what this snack actually is. Hello Jean, thank you so much for being here. Good afternoon to you too. You were wondering if we have very strong storms here. Do you get hailstorms sometimes? Yes. Yes and yes. The power of an African storm is quite something to behold. Down in the, or further south in the country, in the Highveld, that seems weird saying that, down in the Highveld. Some of the electric storms in the Highveld are insane. They're terrifying. Even here in the Lowveld, claps of thunder will make buildings shake sometimes. When it rains, it rains. I think we had 100 mils of rain in an hour here in the rainy season last year. There have been hailstorms that have smashed through fly screens and glass doors. So short version, Jean, yes. We have pretty hectic storms here. I've been caught in a couple on Game Drive, actually. One of the places I used to guide, we had to make a rule that said if you can see lightning touching the ground, then we're coming home. It's too dangerous. But yeah, we have had some serious storms in this area. Peace to you. Hi, thank you very much for getting involved. I'm not too sure if this is dad or mum from this angle. Females are larger, and females have more white on the back, but I find it difficult. If I saw them standing next to each other, I could tell you. But because the female is bigger, but from this angle I don't know. If I could see the back, I might be in with more of a guess, or if I could see them stood next to each other, so I'm not too sure. These really are absolutely stunning eagles though. The reason I was asking for an exact hatching date for this chick is by 6 weeks they should be self-feeding, and I've watched adult birds encourage this chick. They nearly did it earlier. Encouraged this chick a couple of times to take a bite themselves, but they haven't. So that would tell me this chick is probably less than 6 weeks old. Because that wasn't quite okay. Mid-June, mid-July. Okay, that makes complete sense. This chick hatched mid-June. It's now towards the end of July, so this chick is coming up for pretty much 6 weeks. So we should be seeing signs of self-feeding very, very soon. And indeed, that chick might even be pulling at the other side of that prey item right now. So this time next week, I would expect this chick to be stripping this food itself. Yeah, literally just as I said that, I think it started pecking at the other side of this. There is a monkey just arrived in my garden. See, look, that chick is, as I said it, that chick is starting to pick things up itself. Looks like the adult bird is still sort of picking things apart and dropping things, but I'm sure in the next week or so this chick is not going to need any help anymore. Let's go back across to Tau. Our crocs are doing something again. But yeah, for the record, my homework is I'm going to do some more research about multiple crocodile mating partners. Good. Egyptian goose just sort of cruising by, minding its own business. So while my checkup information said it's very quick, this looks like a slightly longer process to me. Okay, different information says between 2 and 20 minutes. That's quite a broad variation. My reptile book suggested several minutes. But how could we must remember, we must practice IDing these males and females, I think. Okay, I think there have been records of mating with different partners, but it does depend on, as usual, population densities, sexual maturity in all of the animals, size, I would imagine as well. I mean, that crocodiles can stay submerged for a long time, but this does look like quite an intricate business. Peace all, welcome to the show. You have joined us mid-crocodile mating, which is a very exciting time to join. Something I've never seen this before. There was also, we missed by seconds mating fish eagles earlier as well. So it's this dark one that's the female that was underneath there, I believe. So this might carry on, this copulation, for days. Both emerging together as well. That's so I think that bigger one looks more colourful, and I think that was the one on top, which suggests that was the male. I'd love to get a clear view of this other one. I know one of the crocodiles here, the way I recognise it, it seems to have very clear lines down the coloration on its tail. I would love to get this other crocodile out of the water and have a look at its tail. The trouble is you have to pick a point that is often visible, but that's not always easy with crocodiles. Okay. None of those three sides of any of those tails looks particularly banded, and it's going to be very difficult to pick a point, but I think that female does look smaller to me. This impala looking very nonchalant, so close to those crocodiles. Piece 2, will they mate on land also? Apparently not. Mating doesn't normally occur on land, almost always in the water. And I'm sure part of the reason of that is because it's more, maybe more buoyancy, more manoeuvrable. Because if that male has to get that tail underneath the female, that's going to be no mean feat attempting it on land. You watch, they'll mate on land now. That one that's just moved, you would not see that crocodile. You'd notice, I would notice the edge of the tail along there, but the body against the ground, as soon as it stopped moving, almost invisible. But those impala will know that those crocodiles are here. Actually, it looks lovely and sunny up at Tau today. Very much not the case here. Look at that impala, look. One of the ways to tell the condition of a crocodile is see how fat their tail is, how broad that tail is, and it definitely looks like these crocs are getting enough food. Look at those impala. So eggs will be laid more towards the rainy season, so October, November, December. We must all keep our eyes peeled. Oh, hello, Mr. Waterbuck. We must all keep our eyes peeled for potential egg-laying behaviour. Eggs are normally laid in a sort of in a mound created from vegetation, soil. I think the last time eggs were laid here was actually in a sort of bush. Almost always crocodiles will lay eggs relatively close to water, and females quite good supervisors of those nest sites. You do not want to I've actually got a friend who found a crocodile nesting site, found a nest site and sort of very quickly left, and you don't really want to be messing with a mummy crocodile's nest site. Very cool. So if we've seen a mating here today, laying dates, so let's say end of July, August, so maybe 3 months, and then an incubation period, again up to about 3 months depending on temperatures, conditions as per usual. And maybe if we're very lucky we might get some baby crocodiles. Let's head back. Let's head back to El Doño. There was an elephant there with a very obviously broken tusk, making it quite uneven, and I was trying to work out if it was possibly a new breakage, because I don't recall making a note of that elephant before. So maybe it was a recent incident, maybe it's a newcomer to the area, and maybe I've missed it. Oh. Is this? I'd like to see this elephant, that elephant that just pooped in the water. I'd like to see him face on and see if it's the same elephant that I'm starting to recognise quite well now. If I can see his tusks, much smaller than a lot of the others, and often stands in the water. See, I wonder if... Oh, there's a bit of a fight going on at the back there. I wonder if those elephants are sort of saying, don't stand in there and do that. You often see many animals defecating in waterholes, and it does make me think, especially in the dry season when that might be the only water or the availability of water is reduced. But guess they know what they're doing.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Whoa. This is action-packed.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. I really want to film an artwork, and it has been my goal. I'll be just keeping my eyes open. The worst driver is Jem. He's driving, yeah. You gotta be holding on back in there, yeah? Like in bumps, and I mean, it happens when, these things happens when you're actually going for animals usually. But then, yeah, he's driving. Put your seatbelt.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
Looks like those giraffes are waiting to get a look in. I'm not sure if anyone's made it in today. This slightly smaller elephant on the far left as well. Also, actually, all of these elephants, very, very even tusks. That one we saw at the start of the show, I can't see him here anymore. Obviously an incident that snapped one of those tusks, probably even higher up than halfway up. So tusks are basically teeth, and depending on how high that snap was, could have actually caused quite a lot of pain. I don't think it was quite high enough up. But yeah, tusks are just basically long teeth. So you can, tusk damage can cause elephants lots and lots of pain. Another reason why I personally tend to give, if you do see elephants with broken tusks, and possibly a little bit of extra space. Because if that elephant is in pain, same with any animals, or indeed humans, far more likely to be unpredictable or in a bad mood. These giraffe had enough loitering and waiting. They're going to come and try. No. Okay, it looks like that elephant's saying no today. Guinea fowls are going to try and get in there though. Got a couple of oryx making their way in. There was also there was eland here earlier. Very, very nice to see. We don't see them here too often. Look at those faces. Those faces are always beautiful. When you see them front on like that, they look like an artist has drawn them. Oh, giraffe photobomb. Those lines down their ears, down their faces, down their middle of their neck, those markings on their legs. Lee, yes. These boys do all have beautiful tusks. There's some lovely big ivory up here at Aldonio, but also lovely and straight, even. Very, very beautiful tusks on many of these elephants that we see here, Lee. Guinea fowls are in, giraffes are getting impatient. Mr. Elemental, the giraffe, didn't see him pooping too. If giraffe could roll their eyes, I'm sure they would have done. Ugh, we've got to drink that as well. Beautiful guinea fowl. My favourite birds are crested guinea fowl. We don't really see them in the area that I'm in, but if you go further north, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you've never seen a crested guinea fowl, have a look. They are spectacular birds. They must be careful under there with those elephants. I have seen elephants chasing birds before, but yeah, someone just said maybe they're not drinking because there's a recent poop in this pan. Beautiful markings on these guinea fowl though, lovely spots on their feathers. Very iconic African bird. Often see ornaments or drawings. That giraffe snuck a drink in there. See this? Is this? I'm still trying to see if this little one in the middle is the one that I recognise. Other one's going in. Oh, everyone's getting impatient now. See, I think it just feels so weird to me seeing giraffes drinking so close to elephants. It's just so unusual. Peace to you, your neighbour. You're saying your neighbour had a bunch of guinea fowl when you were growing up and you hated them. They'd gather under your window and make the craziest racket. They do make a noise. They are noisy birds. I'm sure it was nothing personal. Peace to you. Maybe it just felt that way. But yeah, I don't think I'd want them living permanently under my bedroom window. That giraffe almost looked like it was touching that elephant then. It's difficult to get perspective. I think this waterhole might be bigger than we think. I think maybe the perspective and the camera angle here make it look smaller. Because that giraffe's nose almost looked like it scraped down the back end of that elephant then, but I'm sure it didn't. Yeah, I think this is this young boy I've seen before. Extremely even ivory. It's gonna develop into a fine boy as he grows and matures.
This unfolds in front of you.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have two boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very, very proud mama of my two boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
Every month, something wild lands in your inbox. From rare sightings and behind-the-scenes secrets to expert stories, seasonal changes, and exclusive travel opportunities, the Wild Earth Journal is your free monthly mailer, packed with the magic of the wild straight from the field. It's fun, it's free, it's full of surprises. Sign up now on the Wild Earth website.
Roy, my dad's name's Roy. You're asking what are the dangers of the giraffe having its head down drinking for too long? Hypertension, basically. If that all that blood rushes to the head, the pressure in the brain will get higher than it should be. Is probably the main concern. Also things like, this is not the elephant, I know. His tusks aren't even enough. Stretches, strains. It's a very unnatural position in general for giraffe to keep their head down. So muscle strains, they're not aware of their surroundings for an extended period of time. But that giraffe, it was weird. He did the stance, and then sort of ducked his head down and lifted his head back up, but without standing up straight again. It's a bit unusual. Funny how those giraffe are just sort of melting away. The ebb and the flow of these pans is it's actually very soothing, a nice relaxing way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Well, a Sunday afternoon for me here. Maybe a Sunday evening, wherever you are. Dirkman Lover, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. You're saying thank you, Wild Earth Africam. Zoomies, big up to all the Zoomies. You do excellent, excellent work. Oh, that Oryx was kneeling down to have a drink. I agree. Everyone does a brilliant, brilliant job to make this show happen. So thank you to everyone involved. Really nice sightings today. Thank you for getting involved, as always, Darkman Lover, and for making me question what is the true meaning of conversation. Big stuff for a Sunday afternoon. My response was understanding and harmony, and I'm sticking to it. So as these elephants look like they're gonna mosey off on their way, maybe little Poopy Boy is going to stay around. We are also going to be heading off. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a huge pleasure. Please continue enjoying your Sunday, enjoying the cameras, and we will see you again soon. Bye bye.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. Come with us as we discover some of South Africa's wildest places, the Lowveld, the Eastern Cape and the Waterberg. We'll try track and hopefully find some wonderful wildlife while basking in the magnificence of these landscapes. Our locations are diverse and unique. If you like what you see on Safari Spotlight, you can visit these wild and special